Dear students, in this lecture we will understand how to make network diagram. As I told you that in project management we follow two major steps. First step, we draw a network diagram of the activities, and then we apply some tools to analyze that network diagram. Now in the first step, whether it is PERT or CPM, the first step is common. First you have to make network diagram. So now, for understanding this in better way, what I am doing, I will first make network diagram. Without telling you anything, I will make network diagram, and then I will explain that, and then I ask you to observe that what is being done here. So here, this is the data given. There are some activities, and activity A, B, C, D, E, and these are the preceding activity. मतलब A से पहले कौन सी activity हो रही, B से पहले कौन सी activity. So like for here you can see that there is no activity before A. There is no preceding activity before A. Before B there is A. Before C there is A. Before D there is B. Before E there is D and C. Or you can say, if A finishes, B starts. A finishes, C starts. B finishes, D starts. D and C finishes, E starts. So in this way, you can visualize on this information. Generally, in the question of PERT and CPM, one more data is given, that is duration of these activities. But here our interest is to understand how network diagram is made. So that duration is not required. That the duration of activities will be required if we are dealing with the technique of CPM and PERT. Here in making network diagram, only this thing is required, activities and their interconnections. Now see, I am making a network diagram without telling you. Now just observe what I am doing. The first thing is that never try to make network diagram in single attempt, in single draft. Be prepared to make at least 2 or 3 drafts. Why? This is my way, this is my experience. If you try to make a network diagram in single attempt, so you will you may face some difficulty. So my suggestion is that whatever is being said in the question, just keep on doing that, and make a rough draft, and then try to improve that rough draft to make a good diagram, to make a clear diagram. Now see, I'm making a network diagram. This time I'm not telling you anything except that be prepared to make network diagram in 2 or 3 drafts. So first, before A there is no activity. It means that A is the starting activity. Then B. So B, before B there is A. It means that at the end of A, B starts. Now C means that C also starts at the moment A finishes. Then D. D is after B. Then E. And E is after, then E. So E is after D and C. Now C. If C had been here, so now you can see that before E there is D and C. This is given in the question. Now we will make this diagram in such a way that it becomes clear, and you can see most visible, and there will be clarity. When I say clarity, so if it will be better if all the arrows are straight, like I have made C in this way. So it will be better if this C is represented by a straight arrow. So now see, in second draft I will improve this diagram. So if how it can be improved, अगर ये D ऐसे थोड़ा आ जाए तो C ऐसे चला जाएगा. देखिए व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, अगर ये ऐसे हो जाए D और यहाँ से E स्टार्ट हो, तो ये C सीधा यहाँ पे आ सकता है. तो दिस इज आई एम डूइंग A, देन B, देन आई सेड कि अगर ये D थोड़ा सा ऐसे हो जाए, और ये फिर ई हो जाए और फिर यहाँ से ये सी हो जाए. Now you can see once you are assured that your diagram is made, now you can cross check your diagram is incorrect or not, correct or not, because this diagram can be presented in different number of ways. How you could have made C above, and could have made B above side and C below side. So only one thing is required to check whether your diagram is correct or not. All the information given here that should be correctly translated in the form of diagram. How? Before A there is no activity, correct. Before B there is A, yes. Before C there is A. Before C there is A, okay, correct. Before D there is B. Before D there is B. Before E, D and C are there. Before E, D and C are there. No, so now this diagram is correct. Now observe and this is network diagram. This I say network diagram. Now see, what is the special thing in this network diagram? Now you can see that this network diagram is made up of these things: arrow and circles, arrow and small circles. These arrows, this is called arrow, and this is called node. Now it in this diagram, this arrow represents activity, because you have shown activity by arrow A, B, C, D, and these are the circles. This is the start point and this is end point of this activity. So you can see that starting point of A is this, and end point of A is this, and end point of A is the starting point of C and starting point of B, as given in the question, that before B, A is there, before C, A is there. It means that when A finishes, B start, when A finishes, C starts. So you can see here also, when A finishes, C starts, when A finishes, B starts. So you can see this circle, this node is the starting point of B and C and end point of the activity A. So you can see any activity, there are two circles, there are two nodes. At one node that will be at the start, and one node that will be at the finish of this activity. And these nodes are, in the terminology of project management, these nodes are called event. This is the start event and this is end event. Now, the difference between activity and event is very simple. Event is a particular time frame, particular phenomena, like no, not phenomena, a particular time reference. It will be and activity is it takes time. There is a duration involved in the activity. If I say, it will be more clear if I take this example. Suppose this class starts at 10 and ends at 11. So at 10 it is an starting event, and at 11 it is a finishing event, and between 10 to 11 it is 1 hour duration. So duration of the class is that class is activity, and at 10 it is the start of the class, and at 11 it is the end of the class. So you can say event, there is no time taken in event, it is just start and end, and activity has a certain duration. So this is the basic difference between event and activity. So in this diagram, you can see this is the small linkage, and these things are repeated to make a network diagram. Every activity is represented in this way, and connections are finish of this activity may have the start of some activity, and in this way this network diagram is made. So here you know that in network diagram there are two things. First is activity, and second is events. Events is start and end point, and activities, activity particular uh, occurrence of the process or any activity which takes time. Now this diagram can be made in two ways. The first way is activity on arrow. Generally it is we say in short form AOA, and or activity on node, that is AON. This diagram which you have made, that activity on arrow, here you on arrows you have shown activities. If activities are shown here, then it will become activities on node. But I suggest you that I will be that activity on node we will practice in some question, but this is the main thing, activity on arrow, that will be required in future, and that is very necessary to understand. So we will focus on this, what we have made, that is activity on arrow. So in this way you have seen that how what is the key thing in network diagram. Now here one more thing I am telling you types of events, because once you know what is the meaning of event, and you can understand parallelly this also types of events, because this is a theoretical question, sometimes it is asked in the examination. So I will show with the help of diagram, you will easily understand. First is merge event, second is burst event, third is burst and merge event, It is very simple. Merge event is any event where two or more activities finish. For example, in this diagram you can say this is the merge event. Why merge event? Because at this event two activities are coming inside, or you can say two activities are finishing, so it is the merge event. Now I think most of you have understood what would be burst event. So burst event is very simple, a event from two activities emerge. For example, in this case this is burst event, because here from this event two activities start, C and B. So this is, and burst and merge event is the combination of both, any event where more than one activity is finish and more than one activity start. Simple. Now one more thing, that is these nodes are named. ये जो इवेंट्स है ना, इनका नाम लिखते हैं, इनको नंबर लिखते हैं, इनकी नंबरिंग करते हैं, because it is very important when we do for further processing for CPM and PERT. So if you number these events, so it will become easy. So it is required to put numbers on these circles. So there is one rule for making for writing numbers on these events, that is known as Fulcrum's rule. Don't get afraid by listening this difficult name, because it is a name only, because the way to write numbers I will tell you, that is very easy. What is, just start from here, it is 1 2 3 4 and 5. This is simply, this is Fulcrum's rule. What I have done, that we have done nothing, we started from the starting point, and जो आगे मिलता जा रहा है उसको लिखते जा रहे हैं. हाँ, बस यहाँ पे केवल फल्क्रम रूल ये कहता है कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर यहाँ पे यहाँ पे एक और इवेंट रहा होता, यहाँ पे एक और इवेंट रहा होता यहाँ पे, तो फिर हम थर्ड आगे ना जा करके पहले इस अगर हम यहाँ पे एक ऐसे करके लाइन ड्रॉ करें वर्टिकल, तो वहाँ तक की जितनी भी इवेंट है पीछे की वो सारी पहले नंबर्ड हो जानी चाहिए, उसके बाद ही हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। सो और यू कैन से अगर जैसे यहाँ पे अगर एक इवेंट और होती, यहाँ पे एक इवेंट होती, तो हम पहले फिर 1 2 लिखने के बाद 3 लिखते, फिर 4 लिखते, देन यहाँ पे 5 आता। This is very simple. This, if you take any cross section of at any time, so all the events lying before this, they should be numbered first, and then we should move ahead. This is very simple rule. So this is my experience. There is no such difficulty in writing numbers on the events. So I think this is the thing you have understood till now. One more thing I'm telling you that is required for making network diagram. Because I suggest you to write this first, and then rules for constructing network diagram. Rules for constructing network diagram. Rules for constructing network diagram. First, each activity is represented by one and only one arrow in the network. Each activity is represented by one and only one arrow in the network. Means that there should be one arrow to represent one activity. One activity cannot be represented by more than one arrows. So it is very simple. It is common sense, but you cannot take the advantage कि आप एक एक्टिविटी को दो अलग अलग एरो से रिप्रेजेंट करें to make your diagram clear. So no, it is not the case. This is the fundamental rule that one activity will be represented by one arrow. Now second, no two activities, this read this carefully, no two or more activities, जब दो के लिए है तो दो से ज़्यादा के लिए भी वही बात है, no two activities can be identified by the same start event and end event. So what does it mean? It means that दो एक्टिविटीज़ का स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट और एंड पॉइंट सेम नहीं हो सकता. what it is saying कि अगर ऐसा है, सपोज एक एक्टिविटी है ए, उसका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ये है और एंड पॉइंट ये है, और दूसरी एक्टिविटी है बी, उसका भी स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ए है और उसका भी एंड स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ये है और एंड पॉइंट ये है. सो दिस इज रॉन्ग. वाई? Because our purpose is to make diagram clear. Because when we proceed further, you will see that on these arrows some data will be written. So it will become complicated in such a way you will not be able to understand that what data is written for which activity. So this has been introduced as fundamental rule that if there is such situation that two activities have the same starting point and same end point, so we will not make diagram accordingly. Because in practical life, in real life, it may have the case, it may be true that a starting point and end point of more than one activity could be same. But when it comes to make network diagram, So to avoid that complexity, so one thing is done, that we introduce dummy activity. Only the purpose is to make this diagram clear, nothing else. Dummy activity. So what is dummy activity? Now see, for this case, if this is the situation, if A and B have the same start point and same end point, then how we will make this diagram? So we will make this diagram in this way. Now it is B, and from here this is dummy activity is shown by broken arrow, you can say dotted arrow, right? And it takes zero duration. So in when it takes zero duration, so you can see that for further calculations, we will see in future also, for further calculation it is not disturbing, only it is helping you to make your diagram clear. Now you can see it is far better from this diagram, and because there are some, in future you will see that there is some more data has to be written on these arrows. So here you can see that this, if you write some numbers, some data here, so it will be more clear in this case rather than in this case. So this is the purpose of making dummy. So now it has been introduced as a basic rule for making network diagram. So only two major things are required. Rest of the things you can understand very easily, and it is not very difficult to make network diagram. If you practice one or two things, two diagrams, you will become very much familiar for making network diagram. One more way, one more way data can be given. So I'm giving you this question for you can say as an assignment to solve. You should solve by yourself. Now see, in next class I expect from all of you that all of you come with the solution of this question. You have to make network diagram for this set of activities. Activity 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 7, 2 to 3, 3 to 6, 4 to 5, then 4 to 8. Yeah, this is in continuation. 4 to 8, 5 to 6, 6 to 9, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So here data is given in different format. Instead of it could be activity A or it could be activity B. So instead of instead of giving in that way, that activity A, B, C, it is given in the form of events. So from 1 to 2, right, like you can say in the diagram, that here you can say that activity A is 1 to 2, activity B is 2 to 3. So in this way this data is given, and now just try to make your network diagram, and if you find any difficulty, then ask me. Okay, thank you.